with Alert Day coverage now. This is Wave News.
Good Friday morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us here on Sunrise. I'm Olivia Russell in for Shannon Kogan with meteorologist Tawana Andrew. And yeah, tracking this massive mess that was Hurricane Helene, now tropical storm. Just a lot changing and a lot to be ready for, right?
Yeah, I want everyone to be weather aware as the day goes along, because while right now it may seem like there's not much happening, as we get into the afternoon and evening, that is when we're really going to see the wind picking up, more of that rain across our area. This is what we've already seen from the system, and while we're not expecting anything this bad in our area, you still want to make sure that you are paying close attention. Let's talk about what we are seeing right now. The storm tracker out at the airport right now, and for those of you heading that way, maybe you're traveling today, you have friends or family traveling today, I recommend checking with your airline. With, of course, Atlanta and Charlotte, two locations being impacted by this severely, most likely there will be delays and even some more cancellations in those spots. What we're dealing with right now, weather-wise, the majority of us dealing with widespread rain across wave country in the metro, locked in with that moderate to at times heavy rainfall, with some more of that heavy rain showing up near English, down through portions of Breckinridge County and Grayson County, up towards E-Town, and also talking about a little bit more of that rain in portions of Greene and Taylor County that's a bit heavier. That's where you see those little pockets of yellow. That's the heavy rainfall. We have a flood watch in place for those of you along and south of 64. That goes until tomorrow morning as those rainfall totals really start to add up. In fact, rain chances remaining high throughout the entire day. Yes, you are going to need the rain gear. And I've been saying this quite a bit this morning, but I recommend a rain jacket, not so much an umbrella, because we have high wind warnings and wind advisories in place. If you have to head out today, just put your hair in an updo. You're not even going to want to deal with it, because with the high wind warnings and wind advisories in place, we're talking right now wind gusts between 20 and 25 miles per hour. But as we get into the afternoon, we could see wind gusts between 50 and 60 miles per hour across parts of wave country. So just keep that in mind as you're continuing throughout the day. Temperature-wise, yeah, not a lot of change in that because of the wind, the rain across our region, going to hover in those 60s and low 70s for the morning into the afternoon and into tonight as well. By the time we are done with this system, we could see 4 to 5 inches of rainfall. Those are widespread totals across parts of wave country. So a lot to watch as we head over the next few days. Olivia?
A lot to watch with the weather, and that means a lot to watch with the traffic. Right now, we just have this one crash. This is on the Snyder northbound as you're approaching the Lewis and Clark Bridge. 2 vehicles involved in that. It looks like they have police there, and they have that pulled off to the left shoulder. Doesn't look like it's causing any kind of backup in the area, but you can see it's very clearly wet in that area, and that's what we're going to see around wave country right now. The rest of the metro, though, is looking quiet. Those kiddos staying home from school today, that's at least going to ease up some traffic situations out there. Hopefully your employer will let you go and stay home, work from home today, but for the people who do have to go in, at least things are looking calm for you right now. Just take it easy out there. Now, a tropical storm, Helene, officially made landfall last night as a Category 4 hurricane, majorly impacting cities across Florida and Georgia. Just into the newsroom, this stunning video of boat rescues at the Peachtree Park Apartments in Atlanta. The city is seeing a lot of flooding, leading to evacuations. But before Georgia, Helene struck in the Big Bend region of Florida with heavy, strong winds hitting the west coast of the state. The winds shaking this camera and causing waves to crash into a bridge in Tampa. And this video from Bradenton, Florida, you can see just how powerful this system truly is. A live look at Savannah, Georgia, where you can see how strong the impact of Helene is, even on cities closer to the East Coast. Hurricane warnings and flash flood warnings extend far beyond the coast, up into the northeastern and Georgia and western North Carolina areas, and you can hear that wind. Back here in our area, that rain you've been seeing and hearing, that's also Helene. While we're looking to get the tail end of the hurricane, it could still pack a punch in the metro and southern Indiana. Wave News reporter Marissa Berg shares how electric companies are preparing for the impacts.
Heavy rains bring a flood risk, and strong winds threaten to knock out power for thousands of customers. This is why Duke Energy officials tell us they're making sure everyone is prepared, from the line crews, the call center, down to the people who supply the equipment for repairs. We are starting to see some of that rain enter our area now. Our wave storm tracking team estimates seeing impacts from Helene sometime this afternoon. Officials with the electric electric companies say they will look for heavy parts of the storm and relocate resources as they see fit.
As it dissipates and moves west, it's expected to affect southern Indiana as well. And so we're monitoring it closely and preparing, making sure that we have crews on standby and the resources needed to restore any damage from the high winds that are expected.
On the other side of the Ohio, LG&E said in a statement they are, quote, mobilizing crews and resources to be ready if needed. Here's a look at LG&E's outage map, and it looks like the number has kind of jumped since the last time we checked in with you guys. Waiting on that to pull up. Let's see. At last check, it was around 2,000 customers who currently did not have any power. There we go. See, it's about 1,500 customers as we speak right now. Duke Energy officials want to make sure that customers are prepared. They say this is the time to have emergency kits, flashlights with batteries, and portable radios. Their big piece of advice is to go ahead and charge your cell phones and computers so you can get any emergency notifications as they come through. Marissa Burke, Wave News.
Great advice there. Thank you, Marissa. In anticipation of today's forecast, some area school districts are adjusting their plans and telling students to stay home. JCPS not taking any chances as this storm moves into our area. Schools are closed today. JCPS also canceling Friday night football games, anything that wasn't played yesterday. Greater Clark County Schools says all of their school buildings will be closed today. Students will do virtual learning instead. The district says all assignments, lessons, and due dates will be shared on your students' Google Classroom by 9 a.m. Attendance will be tracked through a Google form. If you have any questions, you're asked to contact your student's teacher. New Albany Floyd County has also opted to close schools for weather concerns. The district says they will not be doing e-learning today. They say they'll use a makeup day later this year and will make that announcement at a later date. All practices and activities will also be canceled. The Floyd County High School football game for Friday night has been pushed to Saturday at noon. The New Albany football game at Bloomington North is still on. You can find more closings listed on our website and our mobile news app. The remnants of Hurricane Helene also going to impact your weekend plans. Events like New Albany's Fall Break Blast have been canceled, others postponed. But thousands are in town for Louder Than Life, which they say is happening rain or shine. The 4-day outdoor music festival started on Thursday. Festival organizers say they're keeping a close eye on the wind speeds and the threat of lightning. The sets are built to withstand inclement weather, but the people not so much. Because of the weather, fans will be able to go in and out of the festival grounds to their cars. It's a policy fans say will help them stay prepared for the worst.
Everybody's allowed to go in and out this year. Usually that's not allowed. So we were able to prepare snacks, towels, change of clothes in our car, wipes, anything clean that we want to change into to come back in and still have a good time.
Space will also be available in the Expo Center for fans to change into dry clothes. Those going to the festival can also sign up for emergency alerts. We have a number that you can text to get alerts on your phone over on wave3.com. And with more rain and severe weather expected, now is the perfect time to download the Wave Weather app. The Wave News Storm Tracking team is always updating it with the latest weather impact information for your area. And on the Wave News app, we have all of the school districts changing their lesson plans today due to weather. Both apps are free to download in your phone's app store. A breaking news alert right now on Sunrise. A man is dead in an overnight shooting in Louisville. According to Metro Police, this happened around 12:30 this morning. Officers responded to a ShotSpotter call in the 1600 block of Dumanil Street. That's a couple blocks away from Dixie Highway in California Park. Police say they found a man who had been shot several times. He died at the home. Right now, police don't have any suspects, so if you saw, heard, or know anything, you're asked to call police. This afternoon, more than 30 LMPD officers, including newly named Police Chief Paul Humphrey, are set to be promoted within the department. As Humphrey steps into his new role, he'll unveil a new plan to tackle crime within the city. Humphrey gave a preview of that plan at a town hall meeting last night in Fairdale. The meeting was held with Jefferson County Commonwealth's attorney and Metro Council members. Some of the topics discussed included carjackings, street takeovers, and LMPD's officer shortage. Humphrey says his new plan will focus on addressing problems in the city immediately. That includes ensuring successful prosecutions and working with multiple agencies to get to the root of the crime. He also says it will help officers better understand their individual roles in preventing crime.
I remember being a beat officer, riding the late watch, being asked to do certain things, and having no clue how I fit into the big picture of keeping people safe. And what you get out of that is you get a lackadaisical effort, and you get a C+ effort, which is not what the community deserves.
The LMPD promotion ceremony will take place at 1 p.m. at the Kentucky International Convention Center. LMPD wants help finding a man who was caught on camera threatening a family outside of their home. They say he could have done something like this before. We showed you this video of the man coming up to a home in the Jacobs neighborhood. The family's kids were playing in the yard. When the mother asks him to leave, the man grabbed a nearby shovel and charged towards the door. The man only runs away when he's threatened with a gun. LMPD says they have reason to believe this isn't the first time he's pulled a stunt like this. Police say they want people near Wyandotte Park to be on the lookout. If you recognize the man, call police. Community members calling for city and state leaders to further address housing shortages in Kentucky. The Center for Popular Democracy and Vocal Kentucky held the rally outside of Louisville Metro Hall. One of the big things they pushed for was finding a solution for the state's homelessness problem. Councilwoman Shamika Parrish-Wright is the executive director of Vocal Kentucky, which works to tackle social issues. She says lawmakers aren't doing enough to address the housing crisis.
There's so many people who are even on the street with housing vouchers, but there's not enough places for them to rent. And now with the relocation of places like Dosker Manor, we know that housing crisis is going to continue to grow.
Parrish-Wright believes 32,000 new housing units are needed, which is more than what Mayor Greenberg promised in his My Louisville Home initiative. That calls for 15,000 units. We've reached out to the mayor's office for a response to the event, but haven't heard back yet. The Louisville Metro Housing Authority has announced a big change in management for one of their properties. Starting in November, Ludwig Property Management Company will no longer be in charge of the Liberty Green Housing Complex. Instead, LMHA will be taking control of direct management. They say their goal is to increase oversight and communication for residents. Rent payments, recertifications, and maintenance requests should all be processed as usual. Now let's check in with Tawana for a look at the next 12 hours.
As we head over the next 12, we'll be keeping an eye on not just the rain, but also the wind. This afternoon, we could see gusts between 50 and 60 miles per hour across parts of our region. I'll talk a little bit more about what we're going to be expecting as what's left of Helene moves our way after the break.
Thanks, Tawana. It's 6:11 on your Friday morning. And do you have plans to travel this weekend? You need to be aware of how Helene could impact your plans. An update on how things are looking at our major airport.
Now, Wave News.
And all morning we've been tracking this system of Helene making its way across the U.S. and we're keeping up with all these different cameras. Tawana, it's like all over the country. This is huge.
Yes, South Florida right now seeing rain from this. So is D.C. So that just shows you how massive this system is. And anywhere from Charleston all the way over to St. Louis also seeing rain from this system.
Just a big, big storm that everyone's going to feel. But, of course, we want to know how it's going to affect us.
Well, we're talking rain and wind as we head throughout the day today. So right now the wind not doing a whole lot, but we will really see that picking up later on this afternoon as the core of Helene, or what's left of it anyway, moves our way. We are already seeing the widespread rain right now. For those of you in portions of the metro, moderate to at times heavy rain showing up for you even towards Simpsonville, some heavier downpours there. Where you see those pockets of yellow near English, and also for those of you in parts of Bullitt County south towards Litchfield and from Greensburg to Campbellsville, this is where we're also seeing some more of that torrential rain. But as the day continues, we are all going to be watching for the rainfall. And as I mentioned, yes, we're going to be seeing travel issues from this, whether you're driving or flying. This is a look at the airport right now with American Airlines flight trying to take off to start off the day. This is going to be one of many flights that we'll be watching throughout the day and into tomorrow as well, with the rain and the wind impacting so much of the country. Peeking into E-Town, it's kind of hard to see what's going on with the raindrops on the camera there, but travel looking smooth in that area. Your flood watch is in place for those of you along in south of 64. This goes until tomorrow morning. We also have a high wind warning. That's that yellowy orange color on your screen. And then for those of you not underneath a high wind warning, you're underneath a wind advisory. So that means all of us need to be paying attention as the day goes along. The wind still right around 15 miles per hour, sustained with some of these gusts in the 25 mile per hour range, but already starting to see some stronger gusts showing up towards Lexington. They are seeing wind gusts of 35 miles per hour as of right now. As we continue throughout the morning, especially as we get towards 10, 11 o'clock, this is when we can start to see some of these wind gusts closer to 40, 45, even 50 miles per hour in some cases. We'll keep that strong wind around through lunch and into the afternoon. Now, as the core of this low moves through parts of our region, I wouldn't be surprised if some of you saw the winds substantially relaxing less than 10 miles per hour, while the rest of us see gusts near 50 miles per hour. So today is a day that you really want to be weather aware. The wind is going to calm down quite a bit once we get into later on tonight, but still talking about some of these gusts between 20 and 30 miles per hour overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. Now let's switch gears and talk about the rain. Basically non-stop rain expected for this morning, into the afternoon, and into the evening. And notice on our futurecast, we're seeing a lot of those yellows and oranges indicating a heavy rain at times. Now trends still show a little bit of some drier air trying to creep in later on this evening. So some of you can get a little bit of dry time tonight, but notice rain chances don't completely go away as this low stays nearby. Getting into your Saturday, the rain chances, yep, those are not going anywhere because Helene is going to be very clingy as we head into the weekend. And because of that, widespread and at times heavy rain expected for your Saturday morning. Getting into the afternoon, we do see the intensity of the rain trying to lighten up. As the night wears on your Saturday, we're going to see some scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms lingering across the area. So how much rain are we looking at with this system? Well, we could see 4 to 5 inches of rain across some parts of wave country. Yes, this is going to be a lot of rain in a short amount of time, so you want to make sure that you are weather aware. And remember, turn around and don't drown. If you do not know how deep the water is, do not walk, do not drive through it, because that is very dangerous and it can cost you your life. Once we head into Sunday and Monday, as what's left of Helene continues to fall apart, rain chances will gradually drop off as your temperatures start to climb into those upper 60s and then the low 70s yet again. By Tuesday, another cold front moving our way out ahead of it. We look to warm into those upper 70s with a small rain chance. As of right now, things are looking dry, just with some extra clouds overhead. And as next week goes along, pretty pleasant once we get that front through the area. In fact, on Wednesday, that is my pick of the 10-day with highs in the 60s, plenty of sunshine, even seeing some lows down into the 40s for Wednesday night. And as next week goes along, it's not going to take very long for our temperatures to climb right back into those 70s for highs, but at least we get to keep the sunshine.
Here's a look at the current Kentucky Lottery jackpots. The Kentucky Lottery, over $5 billion in grants and scholarships.
Travelers should be weather aware as Helene continues to impact much of the southeastern United States, including Kentucky and southern Indiana. Helene, now a tropical storm system. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear said the impact from Helene should be taken seriously. The Muhammad Ali International Airport says you should double check your flight status if you're traveling this weekend. You can check it using your airline's website or mobile app. The airport is expecting issues, especially in the southeast. And we're taking a live look at the flight status here at Muhammad Ali International. As of right now, 2 flights are canceled, an American flight to Charlotte and a Southwest flight to Baltimore. 2 Delta flights to Atlanta have been delayed. 2 American flights to Charlotte have also been delayed. But Tawana, you were saying you really expect a lot more delays.
Yeah, especially as the winds start to pick up across our area, we are going to see some more of those delays. So yes, check with your airline. And for those of you who do take off, keep in mind it could be a bumpy flight, especially with all of that turbulent wind at the upper levels of the atmosphere. What we're seeing right now, yes, that rain moving through all of wave country. And as we head over the next 10 days, we're going to keep some rain in the forecast. So today, an alert day because of the heavy rain and, of course, the strong wind gusts near 55 miles per hour possible for this afternoon. Now, as we get into your Saturday, you're going to keep an eye on some more rounds of showers, drying out a bit Saturday night with some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Then keeping an eye on some more of that rain lingering into Sunday and Monday. Getting into next week, things looking a lot drier once we can finally get rid of Helene's rain. In fact, behind a cold front moving through Tuesday, we could see highs only in the 60s for next Wednesday. So things looking a little bit nice for the middle of next week, then more of those 70s and more of that sunshine in the forecast towards the following weekend.
Hey, we have something to look forward to. Thanks, Tawana. After his speech at the UN General Assembly, President Biden is talking about synthetic drugs. He urged world leaders to not let up on efforts to tackle synthetic drugs and the overdose crisis. The president called on more than 100 countries to continue working together to fight the threat of these drugs. The new pledge includes disrupting the production and distribution of illicit drugs, stepping up communication between countries on drug threats, and increasing access to overdose reversal drugs. The National Institute of Health says deaths from drug-related overdoses spiked in the U.S. during the pandemic. It rose from 71,000 in 2019 to 93,000 in 2020 and 107,000 in 2021. Attorney General Russell Coleman is suing one pharmacy organization, claiming they aided in the opioid crisis. The lawsuit is against Express Scripts and its affiliated organizations. Express Scripts is a pharmacy benefit manager, or PBM, which essentially is a middleman in the pharmaceutical industry. AG Coleman's complaint says the company plotted with Purdue Pharma and other opioid manufacturers in deceptive marketing to increase sales of the highly addictive drugs. Kentucky's General Assembly passed a law earlier this year that required PBMs to pay minimum reimbursement rates to pharmacies. It's 6:26, still to come here on Sunrise. Strong winds today could knock out power for customers. Duke Energy is making sure their employees are ready to tackle whatever happens. We'll take a look at their preparations ahead on Sunrise.
With Alert Day coverage now, this is Wave News.
Thanks for sticking with us here on Sunrise. I'm Olivia Russell. It's now 6:29 on your Friday morning. And yeah, just a mess all over the country with Helene making its way into wave country. Now let's send things over to meteorologist Tawana Andrew because we're also watching all those flights, expecting a lot of delays and cancellations because of just this pure mess out there.
Of course, you see Atlanta getting impacted by this, Charlotte getting impacted by this. So that's two major hubs right there that are going to be impacted from this storm just today. And we're looking at the Ollie Airport right now in Louisville where that rain is pouring down. Thankfully, the wind is not strong enough to create any impacts as of right now, but make sure you are checking with your airline. And for those of you just driving today, the wind is going to be an issue. Hydroplaning, also a potential threat as the day goes along. So here's the radar. We see what's really left of Helene starting to rotate into and through our area. For a lot of us, it's that light to moderate rain, but some pockets of heavier rain showing up everywhere. You see the yellow on your screen, that's that heavy rain. So seeing some of that in parts of the metro, and also for those of you across parts of Kentucky from Brandenburg all the way towards Litchfield and over into portions of LaRue and Marion counties, also seeing some of that heavier rainfall. A flood watch is in place across our region that goes until tomorrow morning for those of you along and south of 64, but we are all going to be talking about basically nonstop rain for the morning into the afternoon, while rain chances drop down a bit for later on this evening. So we see a few more breaks in the rain. Still going to keep those showers in the forecast. The other part of this equation for today will be the wind. Most of us are underneath a high wind warning, while the rest of us are underneath a wind advisory. So basically that means we all need to be paying attention. Right now we're seeing wind gusts in our region between 20 and 30 miles per hour. We get into this afternoon and we're talking about wind gusts between 50 and 60 miles per hour possible. So certainly for those of you traveling with higher profile vehicles, you need to be extra careful. For those of you traveling by semis, you need to be extra careful later on this afternoon. And of course, all this wind could lead to power outages. So we're going to be watching a lot as the day goes along. But by the time we reach the end of the weekend, we could see 4 to 5 inches of rain across wave countries. So this is a heavy rain threat that's going to be going on for quite a while. So please stay weather aware and charge those devices now now before we see any potential issues later on today. Olivia?
I want to make sure you have those ready, charged up, especially as you're heading out to work and you need to check the traffic out there. Right now, just seeing green on our traffic map. I just checked our traffic cameras showing that crash on the Snyder northbound approaching the Lewis and Clark Bridge. Looks like it's been cleared out, so that's some good news for you. Doesn't look like we have any other incidents on our roads right now, but checking our metro traffic cameras, you can see just that downpour, all those wet roads out there. Speeds decreased just a little bit, so just drive slowly, be patient, leave early if you have to, and keep in mind it's some good news that those kids are able to stay home from school today, so just be careful on the roads. Electric companies on both sides of the river are ready to mobilize crews and relocate resources as we start seeing the impacts of Helene. Wave News reporter Marissa Berg joins us now in the studio with those details.
Olivia, this is a all hands on deck situation. I've been constantly checking the outage maps for Duke Energy and LG&E, and the numbers keep changing. LG&E is reporting more than 1,000 customers without power, and Duke Energy is reporting around 900 customers without power. Officials say the heavy rains from Helene bring a flood risk, and the strong winds threaten to knock out even more power for customers than what we're seeing right now. Our Wave storm tracking team estimates seeing the impacts from Helene sometime this afternoon. Duke Energy officials are making sure their line crews, the call center, down to the people who supplied the equipment for repairs are all prepared. LG&E tells Wave News they are mobilizing crews and resources to be ready if needed. Here's what electric company officials say customers should do right now.
Have flashlights with batteries. Have a portable radio. And a real practical tip is before severe weather hits, charge cell phones, charge computers, so you're able to get emergency notifications.
Here are some numbers to report any down lines. If you are a Duke Energy customer, the number to call is 800-521-2232, LG&E 502-589-1444, or 800-331-7370. And if you have KU, that number is 800-981-0600. Energy officials also warn if you see a down pole and you aren't sure if those lines are energized, assume that they are, and you should report it to your local energy company and stay away from the area if possible. Marissa Burke, Wave News.
Very important advice there. Thanks, Marissa. We're expecting massive power outages in communities in Hurricane Helene's path. Indiana's electric cooperatives hit the road to help people in Georgia. An estimated 40 line workers from 12 of Indiana's electric cooperatives left Clark County on Thursday. They traveled to help Cobb EMC near Marietta, Georgia. The Indiana Electric Cooperative CEO says people have to work together and help one another in times of disaster. U of L is canceling classes and its offices today. Staff and patients are encouraged to call ahead to check the status of clinics. This week, many schools not messing around with what's expected to be very difficult playing conditions this weekend and opted to play football games on Thursday evening instead of Friday. With JCPS officially canceling school for today, that means the games still scheduled for Friday have been canceled. But one game that's still set to take place tonight is the battle for the Shillelagh as St. X and Trinity go head-to-head. Yesterday at the salute to the game for luncheon, both coaches talked about how they expect the conditions tonight will play a significant role in the game.
Both teams are going to have to experience it and deal with it. It will play a factor, there's no doubt. Whoever handles those conditions the best is probably going to be the team that wins the football game.
If it's really windy, then that, with the rain, then that has a huge impact on kicking game, throwing the ball. We throw it a lot better than we run it, so we don't got no control of that. We got to go play and be physical.
Trinity and St. X is expected to kick off at 8 o'clock tonight at LNN Stadium. But with the weather, if anything changes, we'll keep you updated, of course. And to see if your school, college, or business closed due to weather, you can go to our website, wave3.com. Just click on the orange closings and delays tab. With more rain and severe weather expected, now is the perfect time to download the Wave News weather app. The Wave storm tracking team is always keeping it updated with the latest weather impact information for your area, and you can get alerts sent straight to your phone. The app is free to download in your phone's app store. A judge is ordering a Bullitt County mother charged with killing her 2 sons to undergo a psychiatric exam. Tiffany Lucas claims she was insane when the shooting happened last year. This evaluation will determine Lucas's state of mind when the crime happened and if she's mentally competent to stand trial. Prosecutors say she shot and killed her sons, 9-year-old Jaden Howard and 6-year-old Maurice Baker Jr. The judge will take the psych exam results and determine the best path forward. Kentucky Senate Democrats are now calling for State Representative Daniel Grossberg to resign. They're the most recent voice calling for him to step down after multiple accusations of harassment. A worker at Foxy's Gentlemen's Club told us Grossberg was an uncomfortable regular until he was banned. They said he got physical and confrontational with the club's exotic dancers on several occasions. Now Kentucky's Senate Democratic Caucus is calling for him to resign. Right now, a Legislative Ethics Commission is looking into Grossberg for other instances of alleged misconduct, often featuring claims of sexual harassment. He has denied any wrongdoing. Now let's check in with Tawana for a look at the next 12 hours.
And as we head over the next 12 hours, you are going to need the rain gear and keep a close eye on the Wave weather app because we're going to keep those rounds of rain for this morning, into the afternoon, into the evening, into the weekend. I'll let you know when that dry weather finally returns to Wave Country after the break.
A Kentucky gym is going viral for a video meant to encourage everyone to come together and be part of their community. People usually don't expect to go viral when they post a video to social media, but that's exactly what happened when Barron County Family YMCA posted on TikTok. The video featured employee of over 15 years, Terry Reed, utilizing some Gen Alpha slang to show off some of the features of their local facility. The idea for the video stemmed from their marketing manager. Terry says he's enjoying his 15 minutes of fame and encourages people to embrace new things at any age.
Girl, summer is over. Guess what? It's time to get snatched. I was really nervous because I didn't know what these words meant. But the thing of it is, if it was for the Y to help people, I thought, well, this is well worth it. It's worth doing it for the Y and for others. If you can cheer people up and give them a little energy, wow, that's what it's all about. Don't have a minty bee, just touch some grass.
I love how he's willing to do anything for the video too. Now that video right now sits at over 600,000 views, has more than 110,000 likes and over 1,000 comments. Everyone just praising his kind, energetic nature. You saw it right there. I mean, he doesn't know what he's saying, but he's trusting, I'm guessing, those Gen Z employees saying, hey, say this, it'll be funny, they'll get it. And he jumped into it. He embraced it. I love that.
I love that so much. He is entirely right. Don't have a mentee bee. Touch some grass. We will be
not
okay.
right now.
Not right now.
The grass is probably really wet right now, but I mean, find some other solutions to not have that mentee bee.
Yes. Today is a day where you may want to stay inside, stay secure, make sure all those devices are fully charged, and be prepared so you don't have that mentee bee. I'll talk a little bit more about the active weather coming our way for later on this afternoon in just a bit. Good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Andrew with you on this alert day as we're watching what's left of Helene, now a tropical storm, and it is impacting so many portions of the country. If you have family or friends, by the way, in the Charlestown area, parts of South Carolina, a number of tornado warnings ongoing in those spots. But for us here at home, we're just talking about that rain, and this rain is going to hang out with us throughout the entire day. Notice widespread rain for every single one of us to start off our Friday morning. In the metro, moderate to heavy rain showing up, seeing that all the way towards Sellersburg and New Albany. Same thing for those of you from Brandenburg towards Litchfield and over in the Hodgenville area. So everywhere you see the pockets of yellow and orange on your screen, that is where the heaviest rain continues to fall. Keeping an eye on the airport right now. This is where the storm tracker is. Keep in mind, if you are traveling today, you're flying out or you have anyone flying into our area, we most likely are going to see some delays, some cancellations with the wind and the rain in the forecast. Peeking into Bardstown, kind of hard to see what's going on because of the water droplets on the screen there, but traffic rolling smoothly. Keep in mind, while we're not seeing a whole lot in terms of the wind right now, that is going to change as the day goes along. We also have to watch those rainfall totals. In fact, we have a flood watch in place for those of you along and south of 64 until tomorrow morning. The other thing we're keeping an eye on, as I mentioned, will be the wind. Most of us underneath a high wind warning that goes from this morning all the way into tonight. Same thing for the wind advisory for those of you further to the southwest. And the winds right now, as I mentioned, not doing a whole lot. Sustained winds around 15 miles per hour in most spots. But we're starting to see some of these wind gusts between 20, 25, near 30 miles per hour in some locations. And the wind is just going to ramp up as the morning goes along. In fact, as we get closer to lunchtime, this is when we can start to see some of those wind gusts in the 40 to 50 mile per hour range. Heading into the afternoon, some of you can even see some wind gusts near 55 to even near 60 miles per hour. With the soggy ground that we have across the area, I would not be surprised if we had some trees toppling and, of course, quite a few power outages, which is why I mentioned making sure those devices are charged. Getting into the afternoon with that low rolling by, then the core of it close to our area, some of us may get a little bit of a break from the wind while others still deal with that 40 to 50 mile per hour gust. Getting into tonight, finally the wind starting to relax, but gusts between 20 and 30 miles per hour still expected all the way into tomorrow morning. So the wind is that first aspect of the forecast. The second half is, of course, the rain, and we'll see round after round of rain for this morning, into the afternoon, into the evening. Keep in mind, some of this rain may be heavy at times. It does look like some dry air tries to get involved with this low later on tonight, and that could help to really shut off the rainmaker for some, but not all of us. Still going to keep some scattered showers in the forecast overnight into early tomorrow morning. So a lot to watch with that rain still falling across all of Wave Country. Getting into tomorrow, still watching, yep, more of that rain as what's left of Helene is just not going to leave us. More widespread rain expected as we get towards sunrise, even though we're not really seeing a lot of sun tomorrow. On your Saturday, continuing to watch for the rounds of rain into the afternoon and evening. For your Saturday, by the way, temperatures will be hovering in those low to mid 60s, so it's going to be that cool, rainy situation, but thankfully the wind not as strong as we get throughout tomorrow. Rain chances really start to drop off, but not go away once we head into your Saturday night. So between today and tomorrow, we could see around 2 to 4 inches of rainfall across some parts of Wave Country. I would not be surprised if we saw some of these totals near 5 inches of rain. And with the rain still coming down on Sunday and Monday, for some of you, those totals by the time everything is done can approach 5 to 6 inches. So we do have to keep an eye on that flooding threat throughout the entire weekend and all the way into Monday. But Monday, certainly looking a little bit drier with those scattered showers possible. A cold front, by the way, moves through next Tuesday. And as it does so, it will bring that cooler, less humid air into our region with highs mainly in the 60s next Wednesday, but we'll rebound right into the 70s for the end of next week.
Hey, at least we have something to look forward to next week. Thanks, Tawana. The Indiana Department of Natural Resources says a judge should not delay a hearing related to an ongoing legal battle with the city of New Albany. The city wants to delay a hearing related to the Providence Mill Dam in Silver Creek, so the case could go into mediation and the two sides could settle out of court. In a new court filing, the DNR says their request for a preliminary injunction to stop the work at the dam needs to be heard quickly so no damage is done to the site. The DNR is looking to stop work New Albany's mayor ordered. They say the city did not apply for a permit before starting the work. Earlier this week, we reported plans for a community grocery store in Smoketown are no more and left residents wondering why. Now there are some more answers. The Louisville Association for Community Economics partnered with Louisville Community Grocery to make the plans to build the grocery store in Smoketown. We reached out to both organizations, but only heard back from LCG. They say the disconnect came from Lace not putting the right people in charge to address and fix problems involving the grocery store. There's a lot that goes into a grocery store, including land, funding, and the leaders in charge to ensure things go as planned.
I think having a commitment to community, figuring it out, is what didn't happen. We've continued to seek Metro government's role. We've continued to just not commit to learning about cooperative development in grocery stores and committing to each other.
Heron says the land and a lot of the funding, including the $3.5 million given by Metro government, were there. But when it came to helping members grow and fixing problems that arise, she says Lace didn't take the right steps. That money from Metro never exchanged hands with the organizers, though. Here's a look at the big stories we're following today around the country and the world. Helene has been downgraded to a tropical storm, but made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane. This is video of Steinhatchee, Florida. The city was hit with severe flooding as Helene made landfall. 5 deaths are being reported so far, but rescue and recovery efforts remain in effect. Boeing and the Machinists Union are scheduled to meet with federal mediators today. This is the first time they've met since September 18th. The strike has gone on for nearly 2 weeks and has already cost the company over $500 million. The impacts of the strike against Boeing have impacted suppliers. The ball that Los Angeles Dodgers Shohei Ohtani hit to reach the 50-50 club in MLB history is going on the auction block. Bidding begins on Golden's website today at noon Eastern. Bidding starts at $500,000, but someone can just buy that baseball outright privately for $4.5 million. What a season Shohei Ohtani is having. Stick with us. We'll have more news coming up in our Wake Up Watch List right after this. We're following all your top stories in today's Wake Up Watch List. JCPS not taking any chances as this storm moves into our area. Schools are closed today. JCPS also canceled Friday night football games, or at least anything that wasn't played yesterday. Greater Clark County Schools says all of their school buildings will be closed today. Students will do virtual learning instead. New Albany Floyd County has also opted to close schools for weather concerns. Strong winds threaten to knock out power for thousands of customers. Duke Energy officials tell us they're making sure everyone is prepared. Officials with the electric company say they'll look for heavy parts of the storm and relocate resources as they see fit. Duke Energy officials say this is the time to have emergency kits, flashlights, and batteries and portable radios. Now let's check in with Tawana for the latest on that storm system.
Yeah, we're watching all of this rain continuing to move through our area right now. We're going to keep an eye on more of the impacts, especially as we head into the afternoon and the evening hours. The storm tracker on the road, you're seeing all of that spray being kicked up. Keep in mind that it's not just the rain that we're looking at for today, but also that wind. A flood watch is in place for those of you along and south of 64. That goes until tomorrow morning. We also have high wind warnings and wind advisories in place until tonight, because right now, while we're seeing some of those wind gusts near 20 to 30 miles per hour, the wind will increase as the day goes along. Rain chances remaining high all day long, and the wind, yeah, that's going to get stronger as we head into the afternoon with some of these gusts between 50 and 60 miles per hour. Yeah, so this is going to be a windy and wet afternoon. Don't be surprised to see the rain just blowing sideways, because that's what we're looking at for today. Some more of those showers around for tomorrow and into Sunday and Monday, but rain chances drop off at the end of the weekend, and beautiful weather showing up for the rest of next week.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that good weather. But hey, I want to take a look at your traffic now, because with that rain, we know that can cause some issues out there. That little crash icon that you're seeing there, don't worry, that crash on the Snyder has been cleared out. Everything else looks fine right now. Just be careful out there. Hopefully it'll make things easier without those buses on the roads, because JCPS canceled right now. Hopefully people can work from home today. And there's a live look at all of our Metro traffic cameras where things are just looking really wet. Speeds are a little bit slower than what we're used to seeing. Good. Love that. Thank you all for driving slowly.
Please keep it slow.
And right now, the time to charge those phones, those devices. I know I ran into some issues last time where I was charging my phone in my car.
Also charge the portable chargers.
Yes, portable chargers. Make sure you have those charged as well as we're getting into the afternoon with the strong wind gusts. That's when we're more likely to start to see some of those power outages, so please be careful.
And we will keep you updated with all of this throughout the day, so stick with us here on Wave. Thanks so much for joining us on Sunrise. Have a great Friday and a great weekend.
Get live streaming news, 24-hour weather, investigations, podcasts, and more, all for free with Wave Now. Watch on Roku, Amazon Fire app,